Much.
You get it. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's doing all that. And I'm like, he's driving everyone wild. I got to keep I got to keep all the women away from this guy. Okay. That's what I got to do. So I take my kid over there because I'm like, don't destroy my family. So I take Ivan over there and I'm like, hey, can he pet your horse? And he's like, he can do more than pet it. He can ride it. And I was like, that's
Ivan lit up like Ebbets Field.
Dude, it was one of the greatest things he's ever got to do. He's ridden a horse. I've never ridden a horse. So he got to ride the horse around a little bit. And then some of the friends that we had there, we had a nice little bevy of dogs.
Lots of dogs.
Bevy of dogs there. And the dogs were
all good dogs.
Pretty good dogs. Like not any dogs that I would put on the category of like, get that dog away from me as soon as I see it.
No doubt.
Really chill dogs, but not, I think they're city-ish dogs maybe. I don't want to judge them. But
probably.
I feel like they don't see many horses.
I think one of them at least is in the river quite a bit,
okay,
kayaking and whatnot.
Okay,
with his owner.
But the horses, horses are a prey animal. They don't want nothing to do with a predator. Dogs are predators. I'm breaking everything down for you guys. And the guy had a mule. The cowboy had a mule, and just a beautiful steed. And he was on the horse, and he was taking the mule behind him, and it was just a great day out on the river, being surrounded by all the people we like, and some of them we love. I'll admit it. And but the dogs almost got kicked across the river. Some of the dogs, that mule, and the cowboy was so chill. He's like, no, everybody chill out. Everybody's like, nah, get the dogs and kids away.
Right. What's proper dog etiquette around a man's equine?
Exactly.
Right.
I was backing away with Ivan, like, okay, we're just gonna back away before this mule ruins everyone's day. The guy who the cowboy was with goes, I went over to like kind of go talk to him because I'm like, hey man, I'm cool. I'm not like these guys. I had land out in Cedar Hill. I caught crawdads. Yeah. I've scooped a couple tadpoles out of the river for the kids. I know what I'm doing out here. But I was like, these dogs and kids got no sense about them. That's what I said to him. I really went.
Got no sense about them.
No sense about these kids. Got no sense about them. I'm like, who are you? Who's saying this? You've been hanging out with Greg too long.
Did he shoot you a glance like I hear your partner, or was he totally like, this dude's trying to meet me on my level here?
He liked it.
Okay.
I think he dug it. That's what I always assume.
He was into it.
I always assume that anyway. But hey, everything worked out. None of the dogs got kicked. Some of the kids went on a little horse ride. It was a good little day.
Neat. It was a great day.
Went to the river. No dogs got kicked. It's a fun day.
Because that guy goes, man, that
fell in love with another man.
That horse will kick that dog right across that river. And I'm like, I know.
It'll take one. That's all I said. I said it'll take one.
I've been to Cedar Hill. I know what a mule kick can do. I had a mule kick me right in the chest when I was a kid. I caught it. Caught the mule kick. Twisted it. Did one of those reverse
wrapped
kicks,
him up.
Man. Yes, you know what I'm talking about.
I do know what you're talking about.
That mule lesson. Got no sense about them. These mules and animals got no sense about them. So that was a beautiful thing that happened to us. I like that happened.
We I was really happy to share that spot. It's a place that I go often, and there's actually two spots down there that I really like. I could not believe. I knew it was going to be a great day because as we were going down the gravel road, I knew that usually the cars are lined up on the side there. You're usually sharing that space with probably 6, 7, 8 other groups of people, and we got down there and it was only Missy's family down there, which was awesome. They had a hole. They had a whole little carved up. We had the whole swimming hole to ourselves.
And I showed up. I was like, "Who are these Hoosiers?" And you're like, "Oh, that's all Missy's family." And I was like, "Yes, sweet. We know them. All right, good." Because you never know with river Hoosiers. You can kind of tell when they get upset. They'll smack a paddle on the water. That's a telltale sign. Like if aliens are trying to like study us, that is one of the telltale signs of the pure river Hoosier. It happens when they're having fun and or angered. So when they start flapping that paddle on the water, you got to be careful. You got to get out.
I think that's beavers.
Both. It's both. It's when you get that paddle. Ooh, you get them upset. No, but all those people are so awesome. I mean, I did get called out a few times to put on the cucky gear and give everyone
that was sincere too. That was sincere.
You know what's up? If you haven't followed Mycelial Media on YouTube, you're missing out, or our Facebook page, because we got some videos on there that I put the kids to bed.
Put the kids to bed.
Put the little children to bed and bust out a little cucky minute. How about cucky dough ice cream? It's the only type of ice cream that comes with a guy that watches you eat it.
Oh, you might be onto something there.
Cookie dough ice cream.
Cookie dough ice cream. I like that.
I come with every bottle or
And
carton,
just carton? Sure.
carton of ice cream. Is that the correct? Judges?
Ding, ding, ding.
Okay, Mark.
Oh, we got a thumbs up.
Mark gave me. I don't think he knew what the question was, but he threw up a thumb. He's like, "Yeah, whatever. I agree."
Yeah, okay.
Good.
We asked it. We asked if we should just start murdering puppies because there's so many of them. We're all disgusted by this, and Mark's like, "Oh yeah, thumbs up."
Yeah, he did the Joaquin Phoenix half at first, and then he's like, nah.
Okay.
Gladiator.
Mark in the building.
Mark is in the building.
Mark is in the building. No funky bunch.
Yeah, so okay. This show's about our bread and butter, right? We're going to talk
No
a
doubt.
little bit about cannabis, a little bit about psychedelics.
Mhm.
I mean, it's what we do, the events that we've gone to, that ICI event, the Mo Greens Wellness. Buddy, I know you couldn't make it. You had some other obligations and you don't really care that much as I do. So I get it, man. It's good. But I went for a minute. I had a barbecue, you know, like it's so awesome to see that our work and, you know, not social life, but our work and passion is coming to be the same thing. You know what I mean?
Best.
Because being there and talking to the people and setting up the camera and getting pictures with them, like that's kind of stuff I would normally not normally do. I'm not a big picture guy with people every once in a while, but you know, you take pictures, you put them online, you let people know what they're doing, because that's the name of the game right now.
Absolutely.
Let everybody know what you're doing. If you want to get in the industry, we heard, God, what's her name from Kathy? No, what from Blue Key CBD? Katie, thank you. God, I feel sorry, Kathy. But Katie from Blue Key CBD, they were talking about go out there and do it. Don't be scared.
Yeah.
The industry still has so much left to give, and we're finding out Illinois is doing rec. Okay, we got that opening up. Missouri's gonna the floodgates are just about to open. There's a lot of anxiety because we don't know who's gonna get the licenses, and we don't know how exactly it's gonna work out. So I think people are scared. Now is the time to start putting out feelers, getting on old Ricky's page.
Ricky Starling's running a great. The Missouri Medical Cannabis Group is
7,000 strong now.
it's amazing. They've done a phenomenal job growing that group, and I'll tell you what, there is nothing but great information on there. If any kind of bad information, there's so many people to correct it. People's hearts are in the right place. Like it's just a group of learning, and
Yep.
he's even got units in there. They've got you know.
What?
Yeah, you can go on there and like they've got like little educational units and whatnot you can read up on.
God, he's so
In
good.
the tab.
What?
The man's on top of it. Go
God,
check
what-
out that group, guys. Ricky Starling over at the Missouri Medical Cannabis Group.
It's awesome.
It is awesome.
And that's what the growth of the industry, like what a cool, like growing weed and growing the industry. I love that kind of stuff.
No
'Cause
doubt.
that's what's happening. Like all of the connections and seeing George Nolan out there, Michelle Sanchez, two of our peers out there. They're geniuses.
Yeah, yeah.
Craig.
They're smart dudes.
They're brilliant. Well, they're not dudes. One's a gal.
She's a sign. I
dudette.
call her a dude.
Okay, cool.
Call her what I want.
Yeah, that's how we roll around here, man. We're gender neutral, right, Seth?
Call what I want.
Yeah,
Missouri
why not?
Medical Cannabis Network. I kept calling it group. That was
Oh,
bothering
Missouri
me.
Medical Cannabis
Cannabis Network.
Network.
Go check
Give
out
them
the
a
group.
follow. They're
Give them a- yeah,
amazing.
yeah, join that group, and you will. If you want to be kept abreast of the situation, ICI has an app out right now.
ICI.
Go
buddy.
check out Show Me Canna. If you, it's on the Google Play Store. It's on the Apple App Store. It's amazing, guys. Like as far as if you want all of the information at the palm of your hand, you want to find out who's writing recommendations, click on the app. It'll give you doctors within however much of a radius. Throw that right into your Google Maps. It'll take you right there. It's going to, as it goes legal, as dispensaries open, it'll let you know who's where. We're going to be doing some reviews on there.
It's
There's
got
a whole
this
Who's
awesome
Biscuit
video tab on there. with
Yeah,
a
like-
sweet logo.
No
I'm
doubt.
like, man, it's crazy.
It is.
It's all happening.
It's cool,
buddy.
man. Yeah.
To see the work. You guys might not know this. We used to sit in the basement before Seth drug us.
by our ears. And he said, "You guys are too good for this."
Oh, he didn't go that far.
He said, "I'm not going to have you sitting next to a washer and dryer, waxing poetic when you could be sitting in the palatial studios of Radio Central."
we had an
A
episode.
little warm in here, but
Yeah.
A tad bit warm.
We're paying for the heat.
Tad
This
bit
feels
warm.
good. But no, we had Plowboy on, and Plowboy would bring his dog. We would set up the H6. We'd do a Facebook Live. His dog would be going manic, and he'd
Madman.
be up and down. We'd be doing Netflix, which we have such a good streaming picks of the week later. You've been watching some awesome stuff.
I've got so many.
I think I've watched the best show maybe I've ever watched.
You're into it. I can see it. I hear you talking about it. I love it.
Not in a way where I'm like, oh, this is the best show made and edited and everything, but the profundity that's coming out of it is unreal. We got some audio from that. Stick around to the end of the show. But there are big things happening in St. Louis and in Missouri for cannabis. We've seen it in Springfield. We've seen it in Kansas City. We got to get all over. I wonder what the sitch is in Columbia right now. I know we got a couple friends out there, but I mean, college town, it's kind of rough.
Well, and actually, I mean, one of the more progressive towns, they moved on decriminalization before anywhere else in the state. There's a lot of people. I mean, I would call that area of the state. You got Lance Leno out there, friend of the show. Yep. I mean, Dan Vietz is obviously very involved in normal. Gosh, we've talked to so many. Usually see him at the Kansas City shows, but I mean, Columbia is well represented. Central Missouri is well represented.
Doubt, man, that's the whole thing. And I love knowing that Missouri is like the farmland, baby. I know you love farmers, but to see the farmers, we got a hemp conference coming up August
2nd and 3rd. No,
28th and 29th. It's a Thursday and Friday. I don't know if it's the 28th, 29th, or 29th and 30th. We will get that information. But Craig, you've been talking about the hemp for so long.
Did you see them planting? No. Yesterday, our buddy Tyler Morgan.
Yeah, I love that guy.
I saw, a couple months ago, he took delivery of some pretty serious machinery to put some hemp in the ground. And I think our buddies, Clayton Stallings from Evolution Mag, he was out there. I think maybe even Chris went out there, but they went out for a big hemp planting.
Yeah.
Big deal, man. Like they planted, I want to say 10 acres of hemp yesterday.
Dude, both
2 days ago.
Dynamite guys in the industry.
No doubt.
Clay Stallings from Evolution Mag, and Chris Smith.
Did you say it's a Thursday, Friday?
Thursday, Friday.
29th and 30th.
29th and 30th. August 29th and 30th. It's brought on by the Midwest Canna Expos.
Okay. Put on some great events so far.
Oh, buddy. It's going to be at Union Station. I mean, we're figuring out, we're going to help a little bit with the social media and hopefully do some videos and get some, because guess what? Like Craig was saying, millionaires will be made in the cannabis industry.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to see some billionaires made out of the hemp industry. And Tyler's one of the most brilliant, most thoughtful, most grounded guys. Like, he might be a serial killer because he's just so good that I'm like,
he's Ted Kaczynski smart.
Yeah, exactly. He is. He's Unabomber smart. He's scary. But he's like in touch with nature. The pictures he posts on Facebook, I'm like, this is what Facebook is for. He's like, grew these beautiful turnips, and here's the sunset behind it. And I'm like, oh, can I live that life? Because I just pounded 2 pieces of pizza from 7-Eleven, and now I'm crying writing a script for a ridiculous radio show.
Well, hey, it was a great way to start out the show. We're up against it, boys. Let's jump to break here. On the other side, let's read a couple of comments. We got some fans that are commenting on the line. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Maybe jump in the rabbit hole for a minute, or are we going to do that in the second hour? I'm not really sure.
I think we're going to talk veterans and psychedelics next. It's
very good.
We're just
freestyling, keep cruising along. Guys, this is Who's Sophisticated on WGNU 920 AM. Stick around to the other side of the break. We're going to get weird with it.
Hey there, Krager.
Well, hey, Steve.
How you doing, buddy?
Man, I've been pretty good.
Well, that's good. Hey, you heard anything about them newfangled hemp oils they got now?
I just don't know where to find a good one.
Well, I find the best full-spectrum hemp oil from MoMedCanco.com.
Where?
I get it from MoMedCanco.com.
Is it expensive?
It don't cost 2 kittens whiskers. And if you enter HOSO in the promo box, you're going to get yourself 15% off.
Buddy, it sounds like we're squatting tall cotton.
Darn right we are.
Where can I find them?
You can find them online at MoMedCanco.com, Missouri Medical Cannabis Company.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah. You can get an insurance quote anywhere. What people are really looking for is someone to help manage the risk of everyday life. And that's exactly what James Carlton State Farm does. He's also dangerously handsome. He has the dreamiest eyes.
James Carlton has the best customer service in the game. You'll never get a voicemail, and you'll always get a great back rub.
He has the softest hands. A strong sense of community is important to who he is as an agent. From local school sponsorships to sandbagging during floods, it's paramount to be a part of the community. We love the cut of his jib.
Guys, call 314-961-4800. Find him online at carltoninsurance.net.
We wish he was our dad.
Lifetime.
Jill.
It lasts a lifetime.
Come on.
It lasts a lifetime.
Yeah.
And just go Google it.
I wanna lay those shingles down, girl, for you. I wanna lay those shingles down, boy, for you. I'm gonna do some siding, get you excited. James Hardy siding.
Google it.
Roof up for a lifetime. You know I make your neighbors cry. Boo, cause we tell all the leaks go bye. And you know we all do the side. James Hardy boy, yeah.
Guys, Lifetime Roofing. They're the best roofers in the game. Best customer service. LifetimeSTL.com. Google them.
Spiders are found on nearly every continent on the earth. Bugs and arachnids, and insects and other little critters are vital to the Earth's homeostasis, keeping our planet in balance and making all of our lives better. They are vital, beautiful little creatures. Unless you come in my house, and then I'm calling Rose Extermination. Rose Extermination!
Hey girl, where you wanna go?
I don't care, I just love you.
Are you hungry? Do you wanna get something to eat?
I don't care, I'm kinda hungry.
Well, what sounds good?
Anything sounds good, you pick.
How about some Mexican?
No, I had that for lunch yesterday.
How about we get some Italian food?
Ew.
Okay, now you're not saying anything and just
I
giving
just
me a
want
look.
something delicious.
What does that even mean?
I want to sit outside.
Applebee's said?
Applebee's
No,
is
Applebee's.
gross. I'm not
Applebee's is
eating
good.
Applebee's.
I don't know why you're
Applebee's
always
fries
hating on
are
Applebee's.
disgusting.
Applebee's is one of
They're
my favorite darn
gross.
places to go ever.
I'm not eating Applebee's.
I wanna go to Truman's. Let's go to Truman's. Soulard, go to Truman's. I wanna go to Truman's. It's Soulard, take me to Truman's. We agree on Truman's. I love Truman's. Soulard, I love Truman's. Soulard. Truman, 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 Truman.
Truman's and Soulard, a place we can all agree upon.
Shut up, you idiot. When we installed internet access on our computer, I got the whole family involved. It was a lot of work, but it was really worth it.
That's right, Dad. Now the whole family can stream WGNU live by visiting WGNU920am.com.
We installed the internet on our computer just a short time ago, and I haven't been able to get the kids off it ever since.
That's right. Isn't the internet neat? You can also listen to past shows and featured interviews on our homepage,
No wonder you guys are always so busy on the computer.
WGNU920am.com. Point, click, and listen live.
It's really cool.
There's an endless crop of new people who are interested in using these botanical materials for purposes of self-exploration.
Who's Your Sophisticate on WGNU with your hosts, Craig Kohler and Stephen Elgin. Now sit back and learn something about yourself.
What is psychedelic experience? And it's a gratuitous grace. It is neither necessary for salvation nor sufficient for salvation, but it certainly makes it easier.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Hoosier Sophisticate Radio here on WGNU 920 AM. Follow us on Facebook, Sophisticated Hoosiers, or Hoosier Sophisticate. Follow along at on YouTube, Mycelial Media. We're just sitting here talking about our bread and butter. Craig and I, we found our place in the industry as being a little bit of a voice, just kind of being fun, really, like trying to give that energy. We don't want to work with compliance. Well, I don't want to do that. The stuff that George and Michelle were talking about from Mo Green's Wellness, I'm like, oh,
This is like doing algebra 2.
This is school. I love to smoke weed, Craig. I really do. And that's why my journey started from, oh, you love weed. It's not medicine, idiot. You are talking yourself into that it's medicine. Because I remember, what was it, the late 80s or 90s, somewhere in California, they legalized it for HIV. People had HIV, and I was like, oh, I'm sure it can help with the nausea. And then cancer is like, helps with the nausea. Then I finally started realizing when we start meeting all these people, like Aiden's Alliance, go follow Aiden's Alliance. We talked about them a couple weeks ago, and they're the reason for the season, man.
No doubt.
Like, it's amazing. And I love cannabis. I love
Lonnie Kessler. Like
Oh,
we've got
Colton.
Daryl Bertrand, Colton. Like we
all of
can
them,
we can
man.
go all day
Sarah.
long. Every we've met so many people who are really depending. They were dependent on this bill. So many of us wanted this bill to pass
Yes.
for a multitude of reasons.
Yes.
But there was a huge swath of people who depended on this bill passing.
Their lives were on the line, Craig.
No doubt.
It's serious stuff. But weed and cannabis, and we're trying to change the terminology and change how everything has been perceived. But it still is this fun thing for a lot of people, like it's a medicine. Like, and we talk about, the term or the phrase, every, even when you're using cannabis, it's always medicinal.
All use is medicinal.
Yes, which, Joe Rogan had a pretty interesting debate with a couple people on his show. One guy wrote the book, The Truth About Marijuana, like sociopaths and violence in the home or something.
Okay.
Wait, so like the guy that wrote The Truth About Marijuana, that was his angle?
His
Was
angle,
as bad?
His angle was that people with schizophrenia, if they have a tendency to get schizophrenia, a large dose of cannabis can propel them into schizophrenia. And schizophrenic people, he said, I want to say they commit 90% of like murders. And which I thought, I was like, that seems insane to me, because there's a lot of like just gun violence in major cities that I don't think it's a schizophrenic
Be attributed
thing.
to schizophrenia.
Joe Rogan stumbled across that book and was like, get him on the show.
And so they had
Like,
another guy,
seriously.
they had a doctor on who was, kind of the voice
Smart
of
one.
the other side. And to hear them go back and forth, maybe I don't agree with every part of it is medicinal. In a way, you're supplementing your endocannabinoid system. So I get that.
Yeah, on the broadest scale,
Yes.
it is medicinal because it is supplementing a system that is endogenous,
Yeah.
right? Like it's a part of you.
Yes.
And so even if, I mean, there can be an argument made for anything that we take where you can say, well, too much of it could be bad, or taking it at the wrong time could be a bad thing. You could say that for ibuprofen. Like
No doubt.
you can, you know what I mean? Like you can
Stand
say
for
that
caffeine.
you can literally say it for anything. I just saw a story today where a kid overdosed on caffeine and
Adding a
died.
bunch of caffeine to a
No
protein
way.
shake.
Added the equivalent of 35 Red Bulls of caffeine to his protein
No.
shake and overdosed on caffeine. Now I have like driving across the country. I've taken like caffeine pills to stay awake.
Yeah, those yellow jackets back in the day.
I mean, these were like caffeine tablets. And I remember about halfway home, my stomach was in knots that like I can't even explain. And that wasn't near the dosage that this guy took. You know what I mean? Anyway, I have to imagine that was a horrifically painful way to go. We're getting off topic. The point is that you can make the case that too much of anything can be a negative, totally. But but it's not mutually exclusive from saying a massive consumption of cannabis is still medicinal at every level. You're still supplementing, cannabinoids that need to be supplemented.
And I think what I was getting out of the whole deal too was that the schizophrenic cases where cannabis started someone's schizophrenia and they either killed themselves or killed someone else. A lot of it was like the parents saying, well, they smoked weed and that's what did it to them. And I was a little, subdued at being full in on that. I thought and this is the crazy thing. Both of the people on the show, everyone agrees we got to study it more. Dude, there's a million studies on cannabis.
We'll never be done studying anything.
No,
and correlation does not equal causation either. So
no doubt. Because there's a lady who, she means well. She's at a lot of the conferences in Missouri, I think in the Midwest in general. And she says that cannabis killed her son. And she'll go out and try to anti-protest people going into these conferences. And your heart goes out to her. I mean, my heart does. Like, I don't know the full story, but from what people people in the industry obviously going to push back. We're going to push back against that. Don't say that.
Anytime somebody's grieving, people want an answer and they want something to blame. They really do. Like, and this is slightly off topic, kind of a good example. Remember when that kid killed himself and his parents found a Marilyn Manson CD?
Yes.
Sure.
Same thing. And like to piggyback off what Craig said, so many people use cannabis, recreational or even legal or illegal, wherever they're at. Some of them are bound to do something crazy.
And
they were going to
by
anyway.
the numbers, and it had nothing to do with their cannabis use. What I have a problem with is like hysteria is always easy to mass hysteria is easy to push. That's really easy to push.
Sure.
On the flip side,
Fear.
every time we got to sell somebody on the benefits of it. Oh, we got to have double-blind studies. What's that? We can't have double-blind studies because we can't even study anything. Oh, we're actually the weed that we're going to study is from Ole Miss, and it's worse than what I just mowed yesterday in Hillsboro.
you petty man.
I'm a petty man. It's mowed real short, and I'm not even sorry about it. But I got to have a double-blind study to talk about the benefits of it on PTSD. But God forbid we make some kind of crazy correlation between schizophrenia and cannabis use, and it's gospel. I'm good.
This industry has been built upon the backs of anecdotal evidence, man, where people have been putting their stories online saying this is helping me with my cancer. This is helping with epilepsy. Look at my kid. My kid stops the seizures. My multiple sclerosis, my flare-ups immediately go down. This industry was built. I think the most lay person around, they've seen a few of those videos and it flipped them. Yeah. I remember showing my son, I was like, here is cannabis oil working on a kid who has seizures. See them seizing.
Punching themselves in the head.
Oh, got it from watching you, Dad.
Yeah, he's like, and this kid played Mortal Kombat, and that's why he's having seizures. You don't play video games, son.
Yeah.
Okay. Like the fear, like you're saying earlier. I'm kidding. But with the
I thought you were serious just for a second.
My son, that kind of flipped him. I felt like he goes, wow, this is a legit medicine for people. And so we have a lot of fun here. The reason I bring this up is because Craig and I, we think a little bit differently. I know. Isn't it crazy? People are like, you guys are in lockstep. Seth's the zany one over there.
I really appreciate you changing your blue shirt 3 times in a row that we've been seeing with each other would be a little bit too much.
We had the exact same shirt on the last 3 times. It's cute.
It's cutish. It's cutish.
But I love weed. I've always, since the first time I did it, I was like, I like smoking it. I love smoking it. I like eating it. I like doing all that stuff.
I like doing all that stuff.
I like the dabs. I like the new stuff. Someone was talking about wink. Someone was talking about live diamonds. We're getting edibles with 300 milligrams. And like, I love it. I love living in that world and playing my guitar and and people dancing on videos like Makate Resh, Makate. The Mad Hallelujah Tribe. I'm like, that's it, baby. They're a tribe out there just dancing.
Doing it, traveling the world on a caravan.
No one cares. You can tell their judgment zone is zero, and that's what I want about Cotillion. So if you're listening about Cotillion, the Cotillion is a zero judge. That's the best thing about it. We ain't
judgment-free space.
Never judge you, and if Craig and I will judge each other hard, enough for everyone. Okay, so we'll take care of all that.
No doubt.
But I've always loved it, and it's funny because I'm like, hey man, let's do this allegedly, and you're always like,
there is an erotic dance competition during the costume competition. That judgment will be passed, but not like judgment of you.
No.
Just judgment of your movements.
Yeah, and that's fine. We can judge movement. What? We have a costume party. Think lights. Think party.
Think you're going to a magical place.
Yeah, think Mars, wherever you think.
Whoever you are, yeah.
Whoever you want to be that person. You will not be judged. That's Cotillion. That's coming up July 19th to the 21st. But Craig is a guy who's very you like just a little bit. You almost are more medicinal. Can I say this about you?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, because you're more methodical, and that's one thing I learned about going on that that trip with the veterans, where it was like when we went to Colorado, doing that, I realized there's a more clinical way to do things. And it's not like, hey man, what's got the highest THC, dude? It's not all about that at all. It's the terpene profiles. It's people like
other cannabinoids.
It's people like George and Michelle figuring this stuff out for us so we can operate at our best level, because we're talking about human optimization here, baby. We're in the second hour. We're going to get into psychedelics, and we always talk about that cannabis is sometimes could be a green screen, a green like window pane over things, and maybe it doesn't solve your problems, but it gives everything a nice hue, and it helps you out and it helps you deal. And we talk about people who really need it for a medicine. That's a whole different thing. But for I would say most of the people, they're smoking, they're kind of eating it or whatever, and it's kind of helping. To where when we start talking about these places decriminalizing psychedelics, oh, buddy,
totally,
we're really getting into some deep stuff. We hope that we cause, just by talking about this, that we get people to
hopefully it makes them look some stuff up.
From shock to awe. I'm sure that's available online now.
Yeah,
we brought that movie to St. Louis.
No doubt.
There's a movie called The Sacred Science where they take them out into the woods and healing. And I'm gonna bring up my streaming pick a little
Aubrey
bit.
Marcus has a couple great ones, Wachuma and ayahuasca.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. Aubrey Marcus, if you're not following that guy, stop watching us and go watch his stuff.
He's far more handsome too.
Yeah, he's amazing.
And he's been in a brutal car wreck. He's still better looking than
Jen
us.
loves him.
Who
loves
doesn't?
Some Aubrey Marcus.
Twisted Steel and sex appeal.
I know,
man.
and I'm not even mad about it.
Why would you be?
I can't be.
He's a unicorn.
Oh,
he's a unicorn in the relationship.
I know. But everything that we're talking about, we hope that you guys go out, expand your own minds, teach us a little something.
Please.
We're bobos. Total bobos. He knew it. You should see Craig when he tries to talk to a Johns Hopkins.
Can't do it.
He can't even
if we're doing it at the bar, so we're on the microphone. Remember that time that you taught at Johns Hopkins?
Awesome. That was awesome. You're like my hero.
I don't think you did terrible. I was sitting right next to you.
It was awful.
Every time you'd get it done with a question, you did that kind of like, I'm stupid. Like,
it's exactly what I did.
Your first question, it was weird. Like you started the sentence and then went somewhere else.
My first question
picked up where
was
you left
16 questions.
You're like, this is an 8.
If you guys want to hear great radio, go back and listen to our interview with Johns Hopkins professor about psilocybin.
What was his name? His name was like Dave Matthews.
It wasn't Dave Matthews.
Matthew Johnson.
Matthew Johnson.
Dr. Matthew Johnson.
That's why we have a producer.
I know.
And to tell you, at the end of the day, it was a great interview, I think.
It was the best interview.
It was.
He did great. He did awesome.
If you'd have taken me out of it, it would have been a world-class interview. It was phenomenal.
Did you clip Craig's parts out of it? Is that what happened?
That's why it's so good.
Just take it out and replace his question with you, but word it better.
You talk about methodical use, man. Like, every day of my life since I was 18 years old. And in the peak of that, like, I was telling you, like, I would go through a box of 50 not little blunts. I would go through a box of full-size Swisher Sweets.
I'm with you, baby.
50 of them
Southside.
every 2 days.
Southside.
Every 2 days. And so, like, I definitely, and I realized that I felt like I wasn't getting high anymore, but I was actually I was just stoned.
It's like
I woke up stoned, and listen, I envy people that can be super productive on cannabis. I do, because I love the plant. I love everything that it represents. I love the way that it makes me feel. I like to think that it keeps me level-headed. I like to think that, it keeps anger at bay. There's so many things.
You obviously haven't read the truth about marijuana.
Yeah, clearly.
By whoever that guy
but
is.
the reality is just as I've used it and I've gotten to know my body more and more, like I can't be super
know your body.
I can't be super productive again. On high doses of it, you know. So
that's good that you learned it.
And I have absolutely. I was talking with somebody on our page the other day. We were talking about that because it really will stretch out a long time for me. I'm an old school dugout kind of guy.
I appreciate it.
And so it's, hey, knock yourself out. Do as much as you can. I got a ton of stuff to do, and everybody has their own reasons for doing it, and everybody has their own tolerances. I know what it was like to be able to smoke around the clock and feel like I could do. That was my baseline. I could do anything all day long. It wasn't until I allowed myself. And the other thing was I was sleeping really heavy, but I was never really feeling rested. That kind of started to happen as I got older. I didn't remember dreams for a very long time, and then in the last couple of years, it was like, oh, my rest isn't even restful anymore. And so when I cut back on that, my sleep got better. I wake up more rested. So I'm totally into it. I want people to do it in every way, shape, and form that they can. I just my tolerances are and it's just so good now. We have let the scientists run amok. We've let these guys run amok. They're talking to aliens. I don't know what they're doing here, but it's outrageous. So
we got a bunch of scientists from Eastern Europe.
They've spent the
1930s coming here and doing all the. Sorry, I've been watching the history of it.
I get you. Anyway, so it's not. I pass no judgment on it. Everybody that I know in my circles, they're all recreational or medicinal cannabis.
One thought on that though. All my life, attention every day, every possible way.
I actually thought you were going with a really high falsetto version of Casey and JoJo. All my life.
Me too.
So I was
instead he busts out the Sinead O'Connor.
I pray for someone like you.
Yeah, that's where I thought you were going. That's all right though. that I finally found you. So anyway, I admire people that can take it in all day. I actually so just recently within the last year I tried RSO for the first time.
Ooh, baby boy.
And I did it kind of to know what it was like. Had a friend that was using it and they were like, man, it knocks me out. I can't do anything. And I'm like, oh, just take it easy. I was like, you know what? Let me try it. Let me get a little bit of perspective here.
I want to party.
I started a movie, put it not even a grain of rice, put it in my mouth, started a movie. And by the third name in the credits, I'm drooling. I'm just out. Don't remember anything. Slept for 16 hours, and I'm like, I didn't even. But that was the perspective. I'm like, oh my goodness, people on these protocols, they really have to work themselves.
Oh, sure.
Especially you consider someone who has no real, experience with cannabis. And let's say they get a sickness like, a cancer or something like that. And that is their introduction is a cancer protocol of medicine.
Oh, yeah.
That's their introduction to cannabis. They don't know cannabis like any of us know cannabis. They know it at a, dude, the first time I did a dab, I straight up hallucinated. I hallucinated. I'm a guy. I'm a guy that has had they always said I remember the DARE program and all. They would say that pot was a hallucinogen, and I'm like, pot is not. Really? Pot is not a hallucinogen, And I always felt like they said that to make it scary. Well, it wasn't until I ripped my very first dab and just coughed for the longest time ever. And dude, I was like a 29, 30-year-old man.
Yeah.
I called my dad.
No, you didn't.
I called my dad and I was like, Pop, listen, I can't drive.
No.
I can't drive home. I couldn't do it. And I was doing the responsible thing, but this was 6 hours after I hit this dab.
Come on,
dude.
Where are you? He's like, I'm sitting in my driveway.
Couldn't come down. I couldn't
get
come
out
down.
of the car, son.
He
You're
comes and
home.
picks me up.
Hallucinated?
That was a different time, but I've hallucinated on dab.
What
story?
I got sidetracked. That was the first time I did it. I was at down Soulard. I was supposed to be somewhere. My cousin's like, hey, you want to stop by for a minute?
Call him out.
Do a little dab. Do a little dab.
Dabaluska.
I'm like,
give his address while you're at it.
Yeah, sure. I I got nothing going. Sure, whatever. Go over there. He's playing NHL 19, and I'm or 18. This is going back maybe 17. Going back a couple of years. I hit it, and it could have been NHL 94. I would have preferred 96 or 93, but that's all right. But but like I was sitting there, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I'm thinking about how I told a couple of other people I was going to be at their house in no time, So I go over there, I hit it, and I'm like, oh, this is just what forever feels like. It was like doing a hit of acid. And I'm like, well, because time stood still, and I'm like, oh God, I told him I was going to be there in like 40 minutes, like a 20-minute drive. There's no way I'm going to be in any shape to drive. Blah, blah. And he's sitting there playing the games, and I'm like, he gets done with the game, and I'm like, you want to play another one, man? I was just going to watch you play another one. And he's like, well, did you want to go? And I'm like, yeah, you are like, he's like, I'm not sure if I'm going to go. I'm like, please go, man. Please go. I get in my car.
Oh, no.
And I know this route. It's South City. It's a grid. It's pretty easy to get to where I'm going to Bevo area, And it was like I had to sit in and talk to myself. And I put on Daft Punk. I remember, and I just felt like Knight Rider. It was nighttime, and I was just on a mission. I was going to go, and I'm driving down Chippewa. Right, I get out of Soulard through this. I took a labyrinth. Just a maze to get out of Soulard. All I had to do was make a right turn and go up. But I'm like going here, making lefts, making rights, going. Get up on the Gravois. Don't drive like this, folks. This is a stupid idea.
Do like half a tank of gas.
I'm on Chippewa. I'm driving down. I am as alert as I have ever been. I can see people before they even get to the stop sign to turn. Like I have like X-ray vision of cars coming on, and I'm like, okay, all right. All I got to do is just go down to this street, make a left. I'm good. I drive down the street. I'm like, okay, left on Rogers or something. I don't know what it was. Left on Rogers. That was Rogers. Okay, well, this next one, I think, there was that one. I drove past 3 different streets before I finally got to the last one. I drove 3 miles out of my way. I show up to my friend's door. They open the door, and they're like, oh, what happened to you? And I was like, dude, I
don't know.
I need water, and I need to sit down. Like, I was the most scared I've ever been in my entire life. It was an awful experience.
Good.
Awful experience. I just don't ever want to be in that place again. It was not fun.
Learn yourselves, because
it was an ignorant. I didn't treat it with any respect. It was an ignorant move, and I got punished.
You used without intent, Craig.
Exactly.
You just went in all willy nilly.
Dude, that's a big thing too. That has a big part to do with my.
Dispensaries are going to open soon. We got to be careful. People got to be careful, man. Those edibles will get you. The dabs will get you.
Dude, I'll tell you, edibles. One time I ate a Kit Kat bar allegedly from Colorado, and it was just looked exactly like one. I knew what was going on. He told me, he's like, yeah, check this out, and we each ate a full one. We broke us off a stick of that Kit Kat. Dude, it was like I get home and I couldn't move. I almost did the thing where I almost called my mom. Stopped myself. I was sitting there thinking the craziest thoughts. I was like, I wonder what my funeral would be like. I had these wacky. Like I started second guessing everything, and I was like, I want to change my degree. I just started
going through an existential crisis.
Yeah, it was nuts. I was sitting there thinking about how weird it is. I was like, everybody has eyes up at the top. Like no one's born with eyes on their chest. Why are we all the same? And I was freaking. It was like we're made. I was on my living room floor. I couldn't get in my chair. It's like muscle relaxers. I was being like pinned down. I was like, this is terrible.
Total couch lock.
So my buddy, I go to his place the next day, or I think it's like 2 days later. I'm like, his name's Marvin. I was like, dude, what was your night like? He goes, dude, it was bad. I got sick. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I looked dead. And I was like, I couldn't hold myself up to the mirror. But
you guys both had a similar experience?
Yeah. We look at the wrapper. You're supposed to eat 1/12 of a bar.
What's the point? You ate like hundreds of milligrams.
Yeah, I ate a huge amount.
Yeah, that's tough, buddy. That's tough. Hey,
I'm trying to get there.
We're kind of up against it.
You got to be
careful. Tell about some of our sponsors.
I will tell them about some sponsors. You guys got bugs? Do you have bugs?
Do
you have bugs?
I used to have mosquitoes.
You had mosquitoes worse than maybe anybody I'd ever seen. What happened, Steve?
They came and fogged my yard. Rose Extermination, 845-6101. They came and fogged my yard.
Your yard is delightful now.
I saw the first mosquito. This was 3 weeks ago. I saw the first mosquito at my front door with the light on just last night. I hadn't seen, and these buzzards, they were all over my soffit, all over them. Yeah, they're gone. They're gone. They might be coming back. So I think it's a once a month type deal. I think for $70, you ask for the cookie special. You can get a little.
Ask for the Cucky special, guys. Get yourself a little deal. The bugs are out. They're annoying. It's been raining so much. Everything's lush outside. There's a cacophony of sounds coming from all of these insects, and all they're doing is just plotting to get into your fortress. What are you going to do about it? Call Rose Extermination 314-845-6101. Woo, guys. We got all kinds of you guys are a lot of fun. We had 27 people in here just mixing it up a little bit ago.
That?
We're having a good old time. We're way past up against the break. On the other side, I'm going to tell you about this little experience I had where time was a flat circle. It was again. It was again.
And now.
Again.
And now. In the future.
And here it is. It's happening now, and it happened then, and it will happen again. This is Hoosier Sophisticate on WGNU 920 AM. We'll see you on the other side.
Spiders are found on nearly every continent on the earth. Bugs and arachnids and insects and other little critters are vital to the Earth's homeostasis, keeping our planet in balance and making all of our lives better. They are vital, beautiful little creatures. Unless you come in my house, and then I'm calling Rose Extermination. Rose Extermination!
Hey there, Krager.
Well, hey, Steve.
How you doing, buddy?
Man, I've been pretty good.
Well, that's good. Hey, you heard anything about them newfangled hemp oils they got now?
I just don't know where to find a good one.
Well, I find the best full spectrum hemp oil from MoMedCanCo.com.
Where?
I get it from MoMedCanCo.com.
Is it expensive?
It don't cost 2 kittens whiskers. And if you enter HOSO in the promo box, you're going to get yourself 15% off.
Buddy, it sounds like we're squatting tall cotton.
Darn right we are.
Where can I find them?
You can find them online, MoMedCanCo.com, Missouri Medical Cannabis Company.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah.
Hey girl, where you wanna go?
I don't care, I just love you.
Are you hungry? Do you wanna get something to eat?
I don't care, I'm kinda hungry.
Well, what sounds good?
Anything sounds good, you pick.
How about some Mexican?
No, I had that for lunch yesterday.
How about we get some Italian food?
Ew.
Okay, now you're not saying anything and just giving me a
want
look.
Something delicious.
What does that even mean?
I want to sit outside.
Applebee's, son?
Applebee's
No,
is
Applebee's.
gross.
I'm
not
Applebee's is
eating
good.
Applebee's.
I don't know why you're always
Applebee's fries
hating on
are
Applebee's.
disgusting.
Applebee's is one of
They're
my favorite darn
gross.
places to go ever.
I'm not eating Applebee's.
I wanna go to Truman's. Let's go to Truman's. Soulard, go to Truman's. I wanna go to Truman's. It's Soulard, take me to Truman's. We agree on Truman's. I love Truman's. Soulard, I love Truman's. Soulard. Truman, 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 Truman.
Truman's and Soulard, a place we can all agree upon.
Shut up, you idiot.
Listen, insurance is not something you want to gamble on.
Yeah, what my associate's trying to say is that James Carlton State Farm is really cool. You're not even going to believe it. Like, let's say you're driving along on the road with your family, and you're driving along, la, patch of ice, can't quite stop, boom, you bump into the guy next to you. James Carlton's got somebody out there ready to take care of you 24/7. You call them at 314-961-4800. Now, here's what happens with the other guy's insurance. You're driving along, kids are in the backseat. Daddy, I got to go to the bathroom. Not now, damn it. Ice. You can't stop. Here comes the adjuster. Adjuster gets out. He says, oh, my God. New guy's in the corner puking his guts out. All because you want to save a couple extra pennies. To me, it just doesn't make much sense.
Guys, check out carltoninsurance.net, 314-961-4800. If your insurance is costing you a leg and an arm, call James Carlton, State Farm.
This is St. Louis Baseball Weekly.
It seemed like this whole weekend was fun for you, but was there any pressure at all, or were you able to just truly enjoy all of this?
No, I didn't put any pressure. I think for me, you know me, you covered me for a long time, on the other side. I told myself I'm going to enjoy every moment. I'm going to do everything, and then, I'm going to prepare myself the way that I prepare myself for the game, and that's what I did. I enjoyed every moment, and I'm telling you, in the next couple of days here, I probably gonna really enjoy it more, because it was so much and it happened so quick.
St. Louis Baseball Weekly with Brian Stoll every Friday at noon right here on WGNU 920 AM.
A person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thought. So he loses touch with reality and lives in a world of illusion.
Welcome back, St. Louis. Let's get your mind right with Craig Kohler and Stephen Elgin. This is Who's Your Sophisticate on WGNU.
I'm not saying that thinking is bad. Like everything else, it's useful in moderation. And all so-called civilized peoples have increasingly become crazy and self-destructive. Through excessive thinking, they have lost touch with reality.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Who's Your Sophisticate here on WGNU 920 AM. Put it.com behind you. You can stream us live anywhere in the world. You can even watch a live camera feed there as well. I remembered an interesting experience that I had one time, Steve. That was this really incredible reminder of the illusion of time, right? Time was all encompassing in that if you looked at it like a hologram, it's all happening at all times. Like every strand of a hologram contains the exact same amount of information. Okay.
I know, but that's still it's hard to wrap your head around.
It's really hard to put into words, and so I'm going to try my best here. So
it's all relative.
I was having if anybody's been spangled before, give me a thumbs up there, because spangle is they make ceremony music, they make medicine music, and I really respect people that take the time to go into this weird place and play music as it's intended to be heard, so I'm getting spangled. I'm also listening to a guy named Parangi.
Listen, that stuff's tough to listen to,
and I for me, like, this is the weirdest thing. I'm blowing up over here. The weirdest thing is that, thank you, sir. I don't fear in that space. If anything, like I get all of the, I want to go deeper. I want to see things. I want to just be wowed by the experience. I want to see where I fit into this thing. Right.
Yeah,
and so
we're all trying to do
all of this, right, and that's the whole deal. I mean, I would say that the psychedelic experience, whether experienced through taking a substance or through holotropic breathing, or however you find yourself, maybe astral projecting,
or being in the woods alone for a while,
that's what it is. It's kind of a fast forwarded version. We're looking at ourselves in the most existential way possible and trying to see where it is that we fit in, what it is that who we are in all of this. And so all of this crazy music's playing. That's great.
It's crazy music. I look it up. It's wildin' out. And Spangle says, do they get medicated when they?
Oh, well, so like,
they say that?
if you watch some psychedelic documentaries and things like that, I can't remember which one it was that I watched, but like, you know, people can expect to smell cannabis at pretty much any outdoor concert.
Sure.
You know, when you go to a Schwangel show, the pit smells like DMT.
Woo!
So
That
I
thing
can't
you made
even
me
imagine.
listen to in the parking lot that one time. You're like, oh, got to try this out, and I listened to it for like 2 minutes. It was pretty weird.
Oh, it was probably
Yeah.
Schwangel.
Yeah, that
it's
sounds
probably
familiar.
Schwangel.
I was like, what's a schwangel?
Quick interlude. I found Schmongel on my own. At least I thought I did. It's about a year ago when I met Craig, and I was like, man, I found a couple cool songs by this band Schmongel. Like, they're pretty awesome. Craig goes, ha, I got 9 Schmongel albums on my BlackBerry right now. And I was like, that's the most Craig Kohler thing I've ever heard in my life. 9 of them on
lot
your
of Schmongel.
BlackBerry. Like, they got a lot of music on there. All right, go ahead.
So, okay. So all of this crazy music, I have some really terrific geometric visions, really cool kind of kaleidoscopic cacti with serpents and what really neat visuals are going on in my world right now.
What do you think? Are you trying to initiate anything, or are you just letting it happen?
No, because that's what I was going to say is like, I don't even realize that those things are happening until it takes me a second to realize that they're happening. Does that make sense? Like, I'm sitting with these kaleidoscopic visions before I realize I can kind of describe what the kaleidoscopic vision is.
That's kind of the gap in time that we're all experiencing, the gap from our eyes to our brain, that short split second that it takes the information to register.
And for light to refract.
We're never really in the moment that's happening.
Sure.
You know, so no, that's an interesting
so
perspective of it.
that's all fine and dandy. So I, you know, like I'm having great visuals, and then I'm realizing that it's getting pretty heavy in the space. And so like, I'm going to just, I need to bring some levity to the other travelers. You know,
Do you feel like you can kind of hold the space?
Oh, buddy. I think, dude, it sounds so pretentious. I always question what my art is, or whether I'm just like a dilettante, you know, or I'm just like, I'm not really great at anything. I'm just, you know, like I have no personal art. And like, that's something that I sit in my weird, sad thoughts with.
Okay.
But then I'm like, well, what is it? Like, let's realize it.
Sure.
You know? And I'm like, okay, if there's ever anywhere I've ever felt artistic, it's creating a space for people to journey.
Wow.
You know, forward.
Yes.
And so that's what I asked a question about what art was on the page that was inspired by that, because it wasn't like, you know, what do you think is good art, or what is actual art? Like, is art what we all create? Like, if it's what we create, does it have to be a thing? Does it have to be a sound? Does it have, or can it be an experience? Can it just be like something that you feel and, you know, and share with other people?
That's wild.
Anyway, whatever. That sounds pretentious.
No. Hamilton Souther, he put it out there one time that he got the calling to do. And if you haven't looked up Hamilton Souther, check out his.
He's a great podcast with Joe
he
Rogan.
was the first person I heard who said that some of these shamans, and I know you hate that word for yourself, but you know, and I'll give you some trouble about it every now and then. You cosmic bus driver, or whatever, you know, like the fun terminology we like to use. But there is a whole perspective on, yes, people can hold space, and that's kind of one of those buzzwords that you kind of hear now, like
totally
hold space for me, and you're
yeah.
like, shut up.
Yeah.
What do you know
but when you felt somebody actually hold space for you, it's a real thing.
And everybody has felt the anxiety of someone walking in a room. Everybody has been around a couple and they broke up and they see each other, and everyone can feel the heaviness. Everyone's been at a concert where you feel the elation of everyone in the crowd. So that's not crazy to think that someone in that mindset can help hold space, meaning if stuff starts to get heavy, they can kind of lighten the load for everybody and cleanse it and burn the mopacho, or smoke the mopacho, or, you know, burn the sage or whatever, you know, not frankincense. I hate this stuff with every passion of my being. All right, sorry, go ahead.
So of all this interesting music, and I want to get back to that a little bit too, but this will all tie in. I put on I start scrolling through my music, and I'm just going to find like the first thing that like everybody in the group can kind of sing along to.
Sure.
And it just feels good. Just let's put some feet in the earth real quick, and let's get back to the third dimension just for a second. We'll go back sailing in a minute. And so the first thing that like I scroll to is the Wallflowers.
My
okay.
God.
And so this is funny, right? Because like I'm listening to all of this crazy medicine music that is really, in my mind, I'm communicating with the gods, and then I flip over, I flip over to the Wallflowers, and I take a drink. I got a thirst you can't quench. I take a little drink of the beer, and at this point, 6th Avenue Heartache came on, right?
6th Avenue Heartache.
But here's what was weird, dude.
Now
that this is where it gets strange, but it gets it was like this really profound thing. I was actually in the moment. I was experiencing, so I experienced kind of chronologically that song coming together, but it was all happening in the same moment. And I don't know how to explain this. So the first thing I experienced is Jakob Dylan sitting there and figuring out that lick for the first time, where he was like, "Oh,
your eyes are
I've
closed."
got something." Yeah, I'm just sitting there. I'm just in my thoughts.
Okay.
But then
this is what you're thinking in depth.
But then I'm out. Like I'm out of my body. I'm actually sitting in this space where he's creating this song. So it's that moment
like a New
where
York
he's got this,
or something.
Yeah, totally just sitting there with a baggy Henley on, just like doing his brooding.
Yeah, he's a
brooding. My dad's Bob Dylan, and I've got to live up to that. Like, I'm gonna write you a song. I'm gonna write you a song.
Kind of the psychology.
And so you
love your dad.
and
Your
then-
dad's a legend to you.
Yeah.
And then
That's
I'll
kind of
sing
an
it
interesting-
terribly.
So
Great.
no, I thought Jakob Dylan was. I thought he had a
Are
great.
you saying
voice.
Bob has a bad voice?
I think they both are.
Oh, get
I
outta
thought
here,
Jacob
get
was
outta
a-
here,
was a-
get out. He's a bad.
With one headlight.
Yeah, I know. It's
So
great.
okay, so I realize how goofy this is, being the Wallflowers, and so I'm in this moment, but that's not what I like. I'm in the moment where he figures out the riff, and he's like, "Okay, I got something." Like now, I'm the next time I'm sitting there, it's him and the bass player. The first time, like, they get together and they're in the groove, like just in the hook, the rhythm of the song.
And the bass is like,
the
you
first time,
mother.
and there's a look. And if you guys go out there and you look up Chet Faker on YouTube, Chet Faker Archangel, it's this really great little live recording that Chet Faker does, a little cover of the song Archangel. It's unbelievable. The drummer in it has to play like this electric sounding, like you don't even think a human drummer could do it. It sounds like a drum machine.
Okay.
And there's when he's doing it, there's a moment where Chet Faker, who's playing like these slow, kind of sultry, sexy chords over this insane beat, he looks at his drummer like, "Oh, you bad mother, you
Bernie Taupin mother,
you bad man." And it was that moment that like kind of happened between a band, but it was happening. I wasn't watching it. I was sitting in and experiencing it. Like I was in that moment, that thing that was happening between them. It wasn't like me acknowledging like two guys like, "Oh, we got a jam." It was the actual moment where the two chords came together, and I was like, "Oh, so that's what's happening." So what happened was we got all these notes that are playing. This song's been playing forever. They pulled it down, they recorded it, they turned the piece, and it fit like a puzzle piece back in the strand. And now it's complete. And now we can tap into this time, this moment in time, at any time. Just by putting on this song, you can live that moment as if Jakob Dylan was recording it for the very first time. And it was like this total flat.
Because it's an energy band.
It's just a band.
It's a bandwidth.
So that's what's going on. I'm telling this story to a good friend of the show, Ryan Watts. Friend of Bigfoot Willie Jr. She's kind of his negotiator.
One of the greatest.
I'm talking to him down the river. I'm
ever.
explaining this. I'm trying to explain the fact that it wasn't the song that they were making. It was the moment where the literal moment where the song came together, that like I was able to appreciate in the moment and live in the moment as if it was the very first time it was ever being played.
They're just pulling that out like antennas, pulling information from the gods.
And our buddy Ryan Watts, he goes, I'm telling him the story, and he goes, the Germans with their compound nouns, they just have a way of making words that make sense that we don't have a translation for in English. He's like, and what you're describing is Lebenskunst.
Okay.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like,
Schadenfreude.
Like,
you can't say that on the radio.
Lebenskunst.
You can again drop out of that.
Which is basically the art of the moment, the art of living. It's the art of when the thing comes together.
What?
So like so other people have experienced like this moment where that thing finally it becomes something that the rest of the world can tap into in a timeless way. I can be 65 years old and put on that song, and I can not just
Okay.
think back to the first time I heard it. Now that I've been in that space, I can go back to the time that it was made. That was like this realization that was happening.
And it's almost all the music and all the songs are out there. And it's the moment
Who pulls it down?
when they put the right pieces together at
They
the right
put the
moment.
bits together, and the blockchain completes.
And then how many moments, like One Headlight, I remember my sister saying, like when we were kids, she's like, that song reminds me
It
of my
feels
childhood.
like childhood.
And I was like,
The New Radicals, you
whoa.
get what you give. Like if you hear that song, can you not be transported to 1997?
That's the whole deal. And memories are so weird that they're just electric impulses that change each time we remember something. And music, if you're listening to the same recording over and over, that's something that stays constant throughout time. And you even hear different versions of it. I mean, at the Cotillion, we're going to sing a bunch of cover songs better than anyone will ever sing covers under the covers. Better. We're the main act.
Gauntlet.
I don't even have a band name yet.
I got a whole other thing I'm working on.
That's going to be legit. But no, I love the thought of just an energy band of music and everyone trying to tap into it because music is so weird.
Oh, that's one we can tell another time.
So weird. It's such a different thing that it spans everything. Almost anyone can hear a drum beat. Babies can hear drum beats and melodies from all across any continent, born anywhere. And they're like, yeah. I mean, there's even deaf people who can hear the beat of like speakers, feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, whoa, like there's this frequency, this wavelength, this stuff that everybody can buy into. And Seth and I couldn't have more different of a musical taste, I would say. But we come and we collaborate on this, and it's interesting. I'm always interested to hear what he likes, and I actually got into looked up some of the things you said, and I'm like, okay, I can get. They got a poppy song.
You still got to check out Devotchka if you haven't, man. I really
Devotchka?
Devotchka was so good.
We got all these German sounding.
Devotchka is, man. It's
Schlagenstern,
we went to
or
that
what was
little.
it
We went to
earlier?
that little show. Like
Schlager.
that was a deal. That was cool.
What, Devotchka?
Yeah.
Oh,
that was
Devotchka
cool.
was so neat.
So anyway,
what is time, Craig?
That was my whole thing is that like now I feel as though I have a key. This sounds ridiculous. I have a key where I don't have to think about that song in the terms of how it came into my life. Like that was like my only perspective of different music, right? Was like when I heard a song that I've always known, it was like, oh, the first time I heard that, this reminds me of the skating rink or this.
Yeah.
But whatever happened in this space, I was able to shoot past my perspective of the event and actually sit in the moment of that art being created. And now I wonder, is this a thing with music where now I can get into that space and go appreciate music where imagining where the music came together the very first time. Like, and if you can do that, it kind of makes it timeless, right? Like it makes it something you can tap into at any time. And it's not, it's not recorded. I always, as a kid, what's weird is this is something that calls back to when I was a kid. When I was a kid and I'd lay in bed at night, like the thing that I would always ponder was who was listening, not just in bed at night, just all the time. Like who was listening to the same song that I was in the exact same moment somewhere else in the world. Like we were singing the lyric at the same time. There's so many of us.
Somewhere out there, you will see us through. Somewhere together, somewhere out there, out where dreams come true. American Tail.
Oh, Five Will Go West?
No, not the first one. The first one when they're singing the song
with
the moon.
I don't remember that.
Don't know how far apart we are.
It's a deep cut.
Even if we're wishing on the same bright star.
I was gonna let you take us all the way to break.
It's a whole thing. No, that is really cool. Similar thought I would have is why don't we have eyes on our chest? Kidding. I never thought that. You gotta be a real freak to think that.
I was trying to remember what I was thinking.
You gotta be a real freak show.
Yeah, it was weird, but yeah.
No, I used to think, what memories have been made from these songs? Not necessarily who was listening to it at the same time. On the radio, I would, because one time I was at a stoplight, everybody had Bohemian Rhapsody on. One of the coolest moments of my life.
Everybody's singing Wayne's World.
Yes, and that was the time.
So
one
good.
of the coolest moments of my life. Guys were even in the back of a truck, and they're like, and I was like, oh, we're all.
Everybody's on KC.
Yes, it was a summer day. It was one of the greatest.
That's
moments
South
of my life.
St. Louis, baby.
Thing I love. But you know, the whole thing about music.
One good thing about music.
When it hit you, you'll be enough it. All right, they're done.
Music
Let's
is
listen to
very powerful. I've just never understood. I've met like a handful, just maybe a couple people my entire life. They're like, no, I don't really listen to music. And I just couldn't, I could not imagine that life.
You gotta listen.
Like you don't hear anything and say,
Dude,
oh, what is this? I want the whole album.
I know a lot of I've had that, that's a good question that's a good icebreaker. Like, hey, who you listen to? What are you into? What do you listen to?
Everybody
and
says everything.
When people
like the same thing,
when
it's
people
like they
say,
just found out they were cousins or something.
no doubt.
Oh, best
Like,
friends.
yeah,
no
the hell
doubt.
like, did we just become best friends?
Anytime I was like, someone's like, well, I think you like, I need an album recommendation. Like, well, if you haven't visited the Avett Brothers, and I'm like, oh, we're cousins.
Can we dissect this because you guys both are mentioning cousins?
Can we do it after the break?
Seth, like he's a single guy, and he says, hey, baby, what kind of music you into? Oh, the Cure or Clash or whatever this guy.
I wouldn't come out of the gate with the Cure.
And she's like, me too.
What would you come out of the gate with?
You're like, cousin.
If they're like, okay, if they were like, name your top three, I would. I'm gonna go 4. I would say Nirvana, Failure, which I introduced you to Failure.
Very good, man. I'm very
Super
happy.
underrated. I bet you had no clue who
introduction.
actually wrote The Nurse Who Loved Me,
which is one of my favorite songs.
and Fantastic Planet, the album that's on, absolutely incredible. And then I'd have to
Really
go
good.
The Cure and Smashing Pumpkins. But I don't know. I'm more interested in that person. I do more of the question asking. I like to.
Yeah, but the people that say I don't really listen to music.
No one says that.
I've heard that.
I've heard it.
Met a person
Yeah.
who
Dude,
ever
I've
said
heard
that.
it.
I
and
met a
it's-
girl that had like a
I'll
really
tell you right
cool
now.
style
I'll
and a
look you
bunch of
dead in your. I'll look you dead in
Never.
your eyes. It's terrifying when you say
Never
that.
said it. No one ever said
Yes,
that.
no.
Lie.
Yeah, no,
Lie
they said
and
that.
say you listen to music.
Yes,
Listen-
yes, totally.
you can't listen to the beat of a drum.
I don't.
Like just a basic
I don't
beat of a
listen.
drum.
I don't listen to music, guys. We're way up against it.
Okay. Another sponsor? Let's hit up another sponsor. Who you want
Sure.
to get him?
I'll tell you what. I was thinking about those cheese curds the other day.
Oh, Truman's
In
and
Soulard.
Soulard. Oh man, let's get some tonight.
Guys, let's get down there. Let's watch a ball game. It's time we get
I
these
know.
Redbirds turned around.
I know.
It's time we rally. We're at the All-Star
we
break right
got
now.
to.
We're at the All-Star break right now. Now it's time to turn it on, boys and girls.
Oh no, we suck again.
I was thinking about the Asian groundskeepers.
Yeah,
and
that's
the Indians.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, they're still
Yeah.
on the other side of the break. We'll break down some. Well, we got some streaming picks, and we got to go down the rabbit
audio.
hole for a second.
We'll see.
We'll
We'll
got
talk during the break.
we'll tickle the rabbit.
I have my streaming pick will tie in very nice with what Craig was talking about with his story.
Okay, good enough.
All right.
Who's Sophisticate? WGNU, 9:20 a.m. Stick around. We'll have some fun. You can get an insurance quote anywhere. What people are really looking for is someone to help manage the risk of everyday life. And that's exactly what James Carlton State Farm does. He's also dangerously handsome. He has the dreamiest eyes.
James Carlton has the best customer service in the game. You'll never get a voicemail, and you'll always get a great back rub.
He has the softest hands.
A strong sense of community is important to who he is as an agent. From local school sponsorships to sandbagging during floods, it's paramount to be a part of the community.
We love the cut of his jib.
Guys, call 314-961-4800. Find him online at carltoninsurance.net.
We wish he was our dad.
Hey there, Krager.
Well, hey, Steve.
How you doing, buddy?
Man, I've been pretty good.
Well, that's good. Hey, you heard anything about them newfangled hemp oils they got now?
I just don't know where to find a good one.
Well, I find the best full spectrum hemp oil from MoMedCanco.com. Where? I get it from MoMedCanco.com.
Is it expensive?
It don't cost 2 kittens whiskers. And if you enter HOSO in the promo box, you're going to get yourself 15% off.
buddy. It sounds like we're squatting tall cotton.
Darn right we are.
Where can I find them?
You can find them online, momedcanco.com, Missouri Medical Cannabis Company.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah.
Lifetime.
Yeah.
It lasts a lifetime.
Come on.
It lasts a lifetime.
Yeah.
And just go Google it.
I wanna let those shingles down, girl, for you. I wanna let those shingles down, boy, for you. I'm gonna do some siding, get you excited. James Hardy siding.
Google it.
Roof up for a lifetime. You know I make your neighbors cry. Boo. Cause we tell all the leaks go bye. And you know we all do the side.
James Hardy boy, yeah.
Guys, Lifetime Roofing. They're the best roofers in the game, best customer service. LifetimeSTL.com. Google them.
You can get an insurance quote anywhere. What people are really looking for is someone to help manage the risk of everyday life. And that's exactly what James Carlton State Farm does. He's also dangerously handsome. He has a dream in his eyes.
James Carlton has the best customer service in the game. You'll never get a voicemail, and you'll always get a great back rub.
He has the softest hands. A strong sense of community is important to who he is as an agent. From local school sponsorships to sandbagging during floods, it's paramount to be a part of the community. We love the cut of his jib.
Guys, call 314-961-4800. Find him online at carltoninsurance.net.
We wish he was our dad.
Spiders are found on nearly every continent on the earth. Bugs and arachnids and insects and other little critters are vital to the Earth's homeostasis, keeping our planet in balance and making all of our lives better. They are vital, beautiful little creatures. Unless you come in my house, and then I'm calling Rose Extermination. Rose Extermination!
When we installed internet access on our computer, I got the whole family involved. It was a lot of work, but it was really worth it.
That's right, Dad. Now the whole family can stream WGNU live by visiting WGNU920am.com.
We installed the internet on our computer just a short time ago, and I haven't been able to get the kids off it ever since.
That's right. Isn't the internet neat? You can also listen to past shows and featured interviews on our homepage.
No wonder you guys are always so busy on the computer.
WGNU920am.com. Point, click, and listen live.
It's really cool.
I think really the worth in these psychedelics is simply that they allow you to triangulate upon reality. I mean, in other words, if all you've got is awake and asleep, you can't go far with that. But if you've got awake, asleep, and DMT as points, you can build a much more dimensionally rich model of consciousness.
Welcome back, St. Louis. Let's get your mind right with Craig Kohler and Stephen Elgin. This is Who's Your Sophisticate on WGNU.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Who's Your Sophisticate here on WGNU 920am.com. You can stream it anywhere around the world. Facebook Live, YouTube, Mycelial Media.
People do. They watch it all over the world. I checked our statistics.
Bolivia. We're big in Bolivia.
And South Africa.
South Africa too?
Two people watching.
Right on. Well, what's up to our South Africa?
And I always
friends?
assume it's a room full of people. So multiply every number by 6.
What do you think
every
of when
number.
Was Ernie Els South African? Or
Yes, you're darn right he was.
Yeah.
So
That's what I
is-
think of when Colin Montgomery.
Darn right. Yeah, no, he was
No,
from
he's New Zealand, maybe.
England.
Was it?
Yeah. Wales.
I don't know.
Is that Wales?
That's all. That's
we
it,
talk
kind of a
golf here.
It's
We
golf.
talk golf.
We talk
show.
golf.
Hey, Craig, there's the Midwest Industrial Hemp Forum and Expo, August 29th, August 30th. You can get tickets. You can get it on the website, on their Facebook page. Hemp's a big deal.
It's
Hemp
here, baby.
It's a huge deal. We're also brought to you by our good friends at Lifetime Roofing.
Roof.
If you got exterior work, we've had a bunch of storms. People's roofs are leaking. People's gutters are
It's been raining so
Gary,
much.
take care of your gutters, man.
Come on, Gary.
God,
Get it together, Gary.
Please, thank you. Don't be petty like him.
Get it together.
Oh God, they're the ones who make all this happen, so we appreciate them. Craig, I got something for you. We like movies, so do you. We like internet, so do you. It's the streaming picks of the week. It's the streaming picks of the week. It's the streaming picks of the week. We like the internet as well. We did so good on the clapping.
I saw
and
you.
we couldn't.
I saw you in the
we
zone.
couldn't do
This is the moment in time that I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
we did it.
We saw each other.
Wunderkunsten.
Yeah. yes.
Wunderkunsten.
Liebenkunst.
Liebenkunst. Buddy, I've been watching something that'll change your life. I clipped some audio. Do we have the audio? Can I let me don't play the audio yet. I'm gonna break down the show, and you're gonna hear the audio of the winner from season 1. So I don't want to spoil anything, because if you hear the guy's voice, you might know who won. Okay. So spoiler alert, season 1, it's a show called Alone on History Channel. It's I watched it on Amazon Prime. They take 10 guys at first. The first season's 10 guys. They take them out. Thank you. And they give them all of their clothing. They say, here's your jackets. Here's your undergarments. Here's your socks, boots, a couple pairs of boots, 4 pairs of gloves.
And they're where?
They stock them up.
Where are they at?
They are in Vancouver Island in British Columbia. So it's a temperate rainforest.
Yeah.
The world's largest
Warm season?
The first season, they take them out there and it's cold. It's getting ready to be winter. By the time they're done, it's 17 degrees and frosty every day.
Okay.
Season 2, it's a little warmer. The people are in shorts and taking shirts off. It's awesome. But they take 10 guys out there. They put them in separate locations, and they can't get to each other unless they built a boat or did something crazy. They got them very, very secluded from each other to make sure they don't run into each other. This island has, I think, 200 black bears, 400 wolves, maybe switch those numbers, and 1,000 mountain lion. It's the highest population of mountain lion anywhere in the world.
This is phenomenal.
So they give you a first aid kit, a flare. They give you, just the basics. And then
sometimes
they say,
a flare is all you need.
and bear spray and and a GPS phone that or a satellite phone and a GPS thing you can call if there's an emergency. So they give them every precaution they can, but still these animals start to stalk some of these people. You can tell they were put in an area where there's a high likelihood of a predator, and they're just in their territory and they're just feeling each other out. It gets wild a few of the first nights, and some people cannot handle it. So they're out there alone, and out of a list of 50 items, they get to pick 10. And that's something we can kind of talk about, what 10 items you would pick. And I think they can kind of pick their own stuff as far as like a knife. They each have different kind of knives that they like. I've been seeing a lot of they get real skinny at first and then fat at the end. And
like a kukiri?
Maybe. I think they there's a name for it.
Yeah, like the Gurkha carrot.
Yeah, it's like 10 inches long, maybe 8 to 10 inches. A lot of people have been using those. A little knife, a little multi-tool, a sleeping bag. That's got to be one of your 10. A tarp. So you got to make a shelter. Buddy, about the last 3 people could have lived out there.
That's
one
awesome.
guy made a yurt.
Nice.
He made a guitar, a little ukulele. He made a boat. This guy was unreal.
He's a genius.
Unreal. So these people are all alone and they have these moments. Once they start living and catching fish and they got a gill net and some fishing hooks, you can't bring firearms. So they can hunt a little bit.
Can't bring firearms, but there's 1,000 jungle cats.
Totally. You can bring a bow and arrow, an old school bow and arrow. Some people do.
Just like a recurve.
Yes.
Okay.
And so some people do that.
I think I would want that.
I think 3 or 4 people maybe brought that from the first season. Not many. Like 4 people brought exactly the same 10 things.
Now, are you talking about like a
Fire
compound
starter.
bow or like a stick with a string on
a
it?
stick, like a recurve.
bow.
Yes. So I mean, and they're having to draw it back and shoot it like a Legolas from Lord of the Rings.
Got it, bud.
And so they go through all this, and the mental and the spiritual aspect becomes harder than the physical aspect. So we're going to hear from the winner from season 1. He drops, this is about a 1:45, maybe 2-minute clip. But listen, take a couple deep breaths. I know this is kind of hard in our day and age to sit and listen to a guy talk for 2 minutes. You've listened to us for God knows how long. But this guy, after his experience of 56 days in the wild alone, this is the knowledge he drops on everybody when he finally comes home. Take a listen.
Had a lot of time just on a spiritual level to analyze, myself, my life, where I'm at. One of my main priorities is being a father, and that's what I want to be, and I want to be a good one.
Oh, the things we take for granted in life.
It's the little bitty stuff.
We are survival machines, and I never thought about it, but when you look at human creatures, we are survival machines. Look at what the human spirit can do. I mean, you hear about these people that overcome just insurmountable odds and go through traumatic injuries, and they just persevere and they just gut through it. We're amazing. We're amazing creations. Sure, there's those periods of adaptation. You kind of hit a wall, but then once you tune in to the new surroundings and things just start clicking, you just you adapt. We're amazing. People are just amazing. We just don't realize it. It's all in there. You just have to get the right stimuli to bring it out of you, to tap into it.
Yeah, there's nothing like some time in the woods to really put life in perspective for you, I tell you.
All the things that we make so much drama about don't mean a hill of beans, because we're all just passing through for a short time. And the stuff that we have all this anxiety and drama about and argue over means nothing. In the end, it only comes down to love. That's really the only legacy you've got, I think, that lasts. The love you show your children, the love you show your friends, that carries on, that ripples throughout eternity. The rest of it's just rubbish.
I mean, it sounds like he went to a Schwungel concert.
Oh, that's
you know what I mean? Like, it sounds like he did. It sounds like he
worth the hill of beans.
Sounds like he had a medicine session.
He was given enough perspective to be able to explain the ineffable. And it's weird how it always comes back to love. It's a weird thing. I think even like the hardest of individuals, like
this guy's he's a bad man.
They'll go through a ceremony. They'll go through a ceremony. They'll go through not even a transformation, just an awakening of perspective where they're like, oh, that's the whole point. That's the whole point. That was great, dude. Thanks for sharing that. I'll definitely check it out.
It is so neat. And it kind of goes with everything we talk about. There's Amazon Prime. It's called
Prime.
Alone. There's 2 seasons out now. The 3rd season is in the Arctic. And I can see why, because there's about 4 or 5 of these people on season 2 that they're like, well, we just live here now.
We got to make this harder.
We just live here now. Like they're amazing. And he's right.
I mean, what's the kind of stuff that knocks them out? Is it just when they give up? Is it sickness?
The first people, when they get
Are
there,
there challenges?
when the first people get there, their thing is the predators. They can't sleep. They can't build a good enough tent. And in the first season, it rains 24 of the first 26 days. So you're wet. You're miserable. You can't build a fire. You miss your family. All of these it's always a mental thing. In season 2, a couple people have to drop out because of injuries, which I was surprised didn't happen in the first season.
Right.
And then once they got over the 14 to 20 day period, The rest of the people, eventually stuff started weighing on them from home. Like one guy's mom was sick. One guy's wife was pregnant. So they were like, I've been out here so long, I don't even know. And I can't stop thinking about.
So it's a
my
battle
mom.
of will but like they don't have like they're not given like it's not like Survivor where they have to like get challenges and everything. And
No. They have to do all of their own videotaping too.
Okay.
So everything is a handheld camera, or they have to set up a
wow, is that a tough watch?
No, I thought it would be. From the stuff we do, we got to set up cameras from time to time. They do an excellent job. They take them through a little boot camp beforehand. I'm sure most of it is that how to keep the batteries,
no doubt,
good, how to keep stuff dry. But they're all really good, and a lot of the best moments come from them just holding the camera in front of their face and really having a conversation with who? I don't know. A couple of them are like, it's so weird. I just say we all the time. Like, what are we gonna do today? And the guy who won said, if you're going to spend time alone, you better
make friends with yourself.
Better like yourself a lot. And he was a good guy, good dad. Him and another guy, the last two, they blatantly said, we don't give up. So like, unless something takes us out, we're just not going to give up.
They'd chop it.
Yes. And so the things that broke people down were not finding food, even though food was pretty plentiful if you did it right. The mental strife, and then the mental strife of the predators.
Right on.
Because some people had legit bears and cubs in their camp just checking them out. Now, bears are no problem. You yell at a bear, they usually tend to leave. It's the mountain lions you got to worry about.
Yeah, watch out for the big cats.
But yeah, check it out.
That's
Amazon
awesome.
Prime. It's so cool. I haven't had an ending to a show like that to where I was like, whoa, baby, I got to watch the second one.
So I'll tell you what, for the sake of you not starting this yet, I'm on Stranger Things 3. It's freaking incredible.
Really?
I love it. I love Stranger Things because Stranger Things is, and this isn't my pick. I love Stranger Things because.
Nope, it's your pick.
I don't want to get into it until you watch it.
I know. We're going to start it soon.
Be great. But I love Stranger Things, not necessarily for the content's great. The story's great, but the way that it makes me feel when I'm watching it. It is a show that perfectly captured nostalgia. I feel like a child watching an 80s campy horror flick. Like it's something that's way bigger than just watching a story. It's awesome. Anyway, my pick was one that I just stumbled across. This is, anybody knows to go watch Stranger Things 3 if you've been following along. But like my pick, I stumbled across one. It's a German one, which I need to check out Dark, but it's a German one. It's dubbed in English. It's called How to Sell Drugs Online (Fast).
Watch the trailer for that. It looks unreal.
The trailer is the way that they shot it. And if you're familiar with The Big Short at all, when they explain the housing crisis, they do all these little excerpts where they tell the story for the layman so you can understand it. There's a brilliant scene where he realizes, oh man, there's money to be made. It follows this high school kid, maybe just crossing into college. He's broke up over a girl. His girl came home from the States and she's changed. His girlfriend before she left, he's just in love with her. Yeah. She went and blossomed. And so it turns into this story and he's a brilliant programmer. He and his buddy, they make they're big science geeks in school and stuff. It's awesome.
Okay.
And
how old are they?
Like I said, they're probably 17 or something. Like they're high school, 16, 17, maybe 18 years old. It's really good, guys. Like it's so entertaining how they put these filters over it and they'll make it look like it's really hard to explain. It's super artistic how it jumps from like telling the story to like these little sidebars where they kind of break it down. Jonathan Frakes, who played Commander Riker on Star Trek, explains the dark web. Yeah, it came out this year.
Okay.
I stumbled across it. Check it out.
What's it called again?
No, I just lost it.
How to
sell drugs online (fast).
Is it based on a true story?
That's the whole deal. Is they're making it out to be that way. They're kind of talking to these people that the story happened to in between.
Really?
It's really interesting. Like they check and they're like, oh,
like
yeah,
a reenactment kind of thing.
Kind of almost like but check it out. It's so interesting.
I watch the subtitles anyway. I'm sorry.
Totally.
I watch all the
you can
subtitles.
watch. Well, yeah. And I mean, the dubbing's fine. Like it's close enough. It's really pretty good.
And I know everyone's been emailing me about it. Everyone's been messaging me about it. I'm sorry. I didn't get to the Friends stuff. I know the last 2 weeks I said I need to get.
It's going on in my house right now. Friends has been running around the clock.
Friends, like as in the NBC show that was super popular in the 90s.
Wow.
Friends.
Yeah. Yes,
that took an interesting turn.
I'm writing. I plan on doing Friends trivia nights. It surmises so much of my childhood that I didn't even know. I was telling some friends recently that I was like, oh, my whole childhood is like, find the Rachel and get the Rachel in your life. This girl who needs you, this super hot chick who can't seem to find a date anywhere in New York, who's just like with Ross, this super, he's a guy just like you,
Paleoanthropologist, right?
Yeah.
Or paleontologist.
Paleontologist.
But so, and it's like, oh,
PhD from Columbia.
I am the paleoanthropologist, obviously.
Totally.
Go ahead.
And you realize that Phoebe's now as a 35-year-old man, you're like, Phoebe's the one. Come on, Rachel's great.
Yeah, Rachel's great.
And listen,
Monica's a little neurotic,
but I like that Monica too. Oh, okay. Here's the deal. They're three of the funniest women ever in TV history too. All six of their comedic timing,
they put together a great cast.
It holds up so well. So many of the jokes I've laughed out loud 100 times.
Yeah, that can be said for some.
Dude, the scenes where it's just Joey and Chandler because they're roommates when they're together, it's
phenomenal.
Just stupid. Stupid funny. Like
yeah.
I mean, Skater stupid. Like, stupid isn't. Dude, that's so
stupid,
awesome.
bro.
That's stupid, bro.
Yeah, no, Chandler.
I just wanted to be Chandler as a kid. I wanted to have something smart ass to say about everything.
Dude, he hit some rough times.
Oh,
You
yeah.
hear about some news
I was-
like
I
a year,
think I- I think
a
I
year
made-
ago.
Oh,
The porn star Matty O'Reilly, Chandler, or what's his name in real life?
Matthew Perry.
Chandler Bong.
Yeah.
Okay. Matthew Perry. Yeah. Yeah, they were hooking up.
Well, that's.
I think so.
That's not
It's-
spiral.
No, he was like going to her, like begging for her to help him find drugs and stuff. He got on pills really, really bad, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Okay, that's
Like that,
still,
like,
still
is that
not judging him.
Listen, the guy's Chandler.
Yeah,
He can
no,
do whatever he
no.
wants. He can do whatever he wants.
But no. Did you think
Those
there was a
things
weird
happen.
thing about being in St. Louis and Chandler went to an all boys private school?
Yeah.
Kind of like
He was a
repressed,
relatable character.
totally
Yeah.
relatable. And those guys were the guys who had a quip for
He had like
everything.
a smoking hot mom like Morgan Fairchild, and his dad was a cross-dresser.
Yes, man, exactly what I'm living with.
Totally.
Same exact thing.
Almost to the T.
Dude, I'll tell you the scene where Joey is like he's what's this problem? Like kidney stone or something?
Yes.
Or no.
Yes, that
He
is
had
one of the
a
episodes.
oh gosh, he had
A hernia.
Yeah, a hernia, and he couldn't afford surgery. He didn't have any health.
Not there yet.
So have you seen any of it? Are you?
I've seen every episode.
Dude, this scene where he gets an acting job because he's trying to, get this surgery
Yes.
paid for, and he has to talk to this little boy, and he has to keep
Right.
his hand in his pants to hold himself in place because he's in so much pain, and he just bends over and does this line. He's like, "Hey, little boy," and it's like the freakiest thing ever. That scene will have you roll.
Okay, I'm at season 5.
One of the funniest scenes in sitcom history.
Guys, I want to shout out our line. People have been active all night.
Okay, hit 'em up, read
Jennifer Barris says, ask anyone who really knows me. I am Monica. I'm an organizational clean freak. Tiffany Jones says, alone is awesome. Thanks for posting about it, Steve. Our guy Makate
Yes.
said, love is worth a hill of beans. To which Adam Mundren said, it's everything. And Makate says, you know it, amigo. There's been a
Follow
lot of,
Mad Hallelujah Tribe. They're my favorite
they are a
people
jam.
of all time.
They are a jam. I want to tell you about an event that's coming up that you will be happy that you attended.
Okay.
On August 3rd, the Vibe Tribe is putting on the Ray Memorial Washer Tournament again this year. It's a South Side party, guys. We, over the course of the last 6 years, going back to my dad, have raised tens of thousands of dollars and given them to South City families in need. People come upon hard times. Vibe Tribe.
Yep.
tries
Shout out to
bail them
Kessler.
And we've had so many people. Brian Kessler, it's
And
his,
Angie.
it's his, and the Kesslers.
Yep, the Kessler
holding
family.
it down. I can't believe it.
I know.
Brian Kessler.
I know.
Of all people.
I hate it. I hate it.
Hate how good he is.
What day? August 3rd?
August 3rd. It's
That's
a
so cool.
Saturday, guys. This thing is all day long. 50-50s, chuck-a-lug, it's silent auction, and a washer tourney.
It's so fun.
It's $80 for your team, and your drinks and food are taken care of all day.
If you're thinking about doing it, do it.
And it's if you're not playing, $30 all in. Bring some money for the silent auction. Buy some 50-50s. There's always a lot. Last year there was a cigar lounge. People were hanging out.
Yeah,
There was like a
drunk
humidor, like it was they pull up
They
the park.
put out chairs.
Super awesome, guys. Like we let a lot of people know about Amendment 2 last year. Everyone
Kids.
was really receptive
Kids
to it.
running
It's
around.
kid friendly. Kids are running around everywhere. It is
Smoking
a
cigars.
South side party, man, and it's a day that'll make you feel whole. You will believe in your community again. It's really tremendous. and I hope that you make it out. August 3rd. Check out the Ray Memorial. Go check out the Vibe Tribe. Like and follow the Vibe Tribe, and go register for that event, man. Get your team registered.
Man, we had a good show.
We didn't get to our rabbit hole, but I can just post it on Facebook and caption it with the word "this" or thoughts or something like that.
Okay, good plan. Uh-oh.
4, 3, 2, 1.
We can't do it without the people who love us and surround us with love and kindness and support us. Not Seth so much, but all the people who love and support us and all that stuff. No, Seth
makes the whole shebang happen, man.
I can't say enough about him. Our guy behind the board, Mark and the Funky Bunch. He's got it going on over there. Lifetime Roofing, James Carlton, Blake Bell over at Bell Chiropractic,
Bell Chiro STL,
Truman's and Rose Extermination.
Go hit them up. Go hit up our sponsors. Help them out. They make this whole thing possible. We talked about what's the most valuable thing our show has. We were talking to a couple guys who said it all starts with the community. Yep. If your community ain't there, then who are you talking to? And so this whole show revolves around you. It's yours.
Yep.
We get to do with it whatever we like because we're in charge here. Okay.
Yeah, we love you, but we're not going to let you take advantage of us. Okay.
Guys, we love you so much. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again on Monday. Cotillions right around the corner.
Oh, baby.
Get excited. We're going to get weird. We love you, St. Louis. Be well.
USA Radio News with Robin Walensky.
President Trump says Iran better be careful as the administration warns Iran to comply. The country continues to enrich uranium.